You think murder trials are only about hard evidence, witnesses, and the testimony of the living? Then how about the only case in American history where the dead spoke from the grave, and the jury believed her? Greenbrier County, West Virginia. January 23, 1897. A young woman named Zona Hester Shue is found dead on the floor of her home. Her husband, a blacksmith named Edward Shue, insists it was natural causes, a fainting spell, maybe a weak heart. He dresses her body himself, choosing a high-necked gown that covers her throat. He cradles her head, sobs uncontrollably, and refuses to leave her side. The local doctor, George Knapp, conducts only a cursory examination before declaring the cause of death heart failure. Zona is buried within 24 hours. But her mother, Mary Jane Hester, is not convinced. Her daughter was young, healthy, full of life, and her husband had a dark past. In the weeks following the burial, something strange begins to happen. Mary Jane is awakened at night by a faint, pale blue light at the foot of her bed. The ghost of Zona Hester Shue stands there, her head tilted at an unnatural angle, resting on her shoulder as if broken. She appears not once, but 4 times over the following weeks. Each visit follows the same pattern. The ghost's gaze never wavers, but her lips move silently until she knows she has her mother's full attention. During the first visit, the ghost whispers that she did not die of a weak heart. During the second, she describes how her husband, Edward Shue, flew into a rage and grabbed her by the throat. During the third, she shows her mother the precise injury that killed her. And during the fourth and final visitation, the ghost says, "He broke my neck at the first joint. My windpipe is crushed." His fingers left bruises that no high-necked gown can hide. Mary Jane Hester is a poor, uneducated woman, a widow who runs a small farm. But she is also fiercely determined. She walks into the office of the local prosecutor, John Alfred Preston, and demands an exhumation. She tells him everything, about the ghost, the visits, the broken neck, the crushing grip. Preston listens. He is skeptical, but he has heard rumors about Edward Shue's violent temper. He also remembers that the original doctor never turned the body over for a full autopsy. Preston orders the body to be exhumed. On February 22, 1897, Zona's casket is raised from the frozen ground. An autopsy is performed in a local one-room schoolhouse. The examiners find exactly what Mary Jane described: a crushed windpipe, a broken neck, internal hemorrhaging consistent with strangulation. Zona's neck is fractured at the first joint, just as the ghost had said. Edward Shue is arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The trial begins in June 1897. The courtroom is packed with journalists and onlookers. Prosecutor Preston has little physical evidence, no witnesses, no confession, no murder weapon. His case rests on 2 things: the autopsy results, and the testimony of Mary Jane Hester. When Mary Jane takes the stand, she tells the jury about the ghost. She describes the blue light, the tilted head, the 4 visits, the whispered accusation. The defense objects. They call it incompetent evidence. They argue that a ghost has no standing in a court of law. But the judge allows Mary Jane to continue, because she is not testifying about the supernatural. She is testifying about what she heard and saw, just like any other witness. The jury deliberates for less than an hour. They return a verdict of guilty, murder in the first degree. Edward Shue is sentenced to life in prison at the West Virginia State Penitentiary. He dies just 3 years later, during the flu epidemic of 1900. No motive was ever established. Today, a highway marker commemorates the case as the only known case in which testimony from a ghost helped convict a murderer. But the mystery of the Greenbrier ghost has never been fully explained. Skeptics suggest that Mary Jane Hester simply knew the truth and used a ghost story to convince the prosecutor. But if that were the case, how did she know about the broken neck and the crushed windpipe? Even the examining doctors were shocked by her accuracy. They had not seen the body before the exhumation, and neither had she. Some researchers point to the strange marital history of Edward Shue, who was rumored to have abused a previous wife and exhibited violent outbursts throughout his life. Could Zona's fate have been predicted simply by his pattern of behavior? That would account for Mary Jane's suspicions, but not for her precise knowledge of the injury. Others have suggested that Mary Jane was a natural psychic, though she never demonstrated such abilities before or after the case. A final, more unsettling theory comes from local folklore, that the ghost was not Zona at all, but a malevolent spirit impersonating her for its own purposes. The entity was simply taking advantage of a murder to attach itself to the family and the land. The highway marker at Greenbrier County still stands. Tourists visit the grave at Soul Chapel Methodist Cemetery. Some leave flowers. Some leave prayers. And some leave quickly, feeling a chill that has nothing to do with the mountain air. The grave of Zona Hestershoe remains a quiet, unassuming stone. But if you visit at dusk, the locals say, you can still see a faint blue glow, hovering just above the grass. Subscribe if you want to hear the next story. The prison cell where Edward Shue swore he saw his wife's face in the window, every night until he died.